Hey guys, so I'm gonna take you guys along with me today. I'm gonna be finally getting that processor in the shop here. I don't know that I'll get a whole lot done inside the shop to it. It's getting kind of late in the afternoon, and this has been something that I've been wanting to get done these last few days, but just hadn't had a chance to do it. But I'm gonna get it all blown off. I did get a leaf blower here, a spare, and I'm gonna go ahead and get it all blown off and show y'all kind of how things look before we get it in the shop, and then you know, I'm going to be doing a little bit of cleaning, you know, cleaning things in the shop as well, just with like a, you know, an air compressor and a blowgun to kind of finalize some things to get them ready to be welded, and be doing some cutting and grinding, and I'm going to bring y'all along through that whole process and what I'm doing every step of the way, and trying to make things, you know, I mean, certain things are kind of needing a little bit of maintenance and repair, and then try to just make improvements anywhere I can. That's what I'm always trying to do when it comes to anything with the firewood equipment and firewood processor. So, and I'll probably also show you guys a lot of the different improvements and things that I've done over the years that I have never filmed and shown anyone. You know, because, you know, like I say, we've always felt that way. Always wanted to make it as efficient and user-friendly as we can, and make it where we can put out the best quality product. So that's why we've made any change that we have along the way with any of our firewood equipment and process. So to come along with me, I'm going to go ahead and grab this leaf blower right here, put it in the back of the Ranger, and we'll go out there and we'll get this thing cleaned up, and then we'll get it moved in the shop here. All right guys, let me do a quick little walk around. It's a lot cleaner just by blowing everything off. I've got a little bit of a hydraulic leak right here in the front of the cylinder. That's gonna be one thing I'm gonna be addressing while it's in the shop. You can see the separation right there. I know I showed that in a previous video, but you can probably see it right there, right at the end of my finger, and let's see, yeah, right in there. So hoping I can get that tightened up, and hopefully that'll seal that up pretty well. I actually ordered a large pipe wrench specifically for that purpose. We have one of those spade wrenches that goes in the front there. There's little holes in the, I don't know exactly what that's called, but there's little holes in the front of the part that threads in right there at the end of the cylinder, and it catches in those holes. We just can't get quite enough torque on it doing it that way, so we're gonna give it a shot with a pipe wrench, and do plenty of other little things to the processor while it's in the shop, as well as just service it up and everything. I don't think it needs an oil change, to be honest, but we'll check into the hours and see what all it needs. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys how much cleaner it is. You know, right in there is where there's just so much debris. There's still a little bit down in there, but it collects a lot right in that area. You know, but like I said, we put a lot of wood through it without doing a thorough cleaning. So, but you just get little stuff hung in here, and then once that stuff's hung in, then it just has a spot for it to collect. So, but I mean, everything like from here back stays pretty darn clean. I mean, it could of course get a little bit cleaner with a pressure washer, and that's something that I do periodically. While I have it over there, I probably will get a pressure washer out once we get the repairs made, before we get it set back up out here. We like to take care of this thing and keep it in as good a shape as we can. But this is the very first Eastonmade processor that they ever made. I know I've mentioned it before, but we were calling bells, and this was right when Andrew was purchasing the process, or the the business from his father, and he was transitioning into the Eastonmade processor. So we were going to get a Bell's 8000, and we wound up with this, and we've been super happy. I think we, you know, Andrew definitely, you know, he kind of actually, we were talking with him about the 8000 and thought we'd want something that had kind of been tried and true for a while, but he assured us that this would be a you know, a good decision, and we're glad that we went with the Eastonmade, that's for sure. So it's been a great machine, not without its, you know, little tweaks, because essentially we were getting the very first unit and definitely needed a few changes made, but we've, you know, they've helped us with some of them, and we've done a few odds and ends ourselves to try to improve what we can and make it as efficient and you know, as durable as we can. So but that's kind of what I'll go over with you guys once we bring this thing in the shop, and show you some of the things that we've done to it over the years, and then we'll also get some repairs and some maintenance work done. So we'll get it over there in the shop though, and go from there. I'll go grab the skid steer now, and we'll just hook into the pedal hitch here, and we'll move it into the shop. I do have a flat tire right there. That tire will not hold air. Over the years we have trailers that take these same tires, and instead of just letting them dry rot on the machine and never really get any tow use out of them, we swapped them around on that, you know, on our other trailers, so we get the use out of the tire, and then just put the older ones on there, and apparently one of them doesn't hold air, so but we make do. It's okay. So I just want to go over real quick what my plans are, and then I'll probably have to head out and wrap this video up. But I need to just cut this off here real quick. This was just to kind of put a band-aid on it for us, and get this to where it holds in here. I want to show you kind of how this actually works. So this right here, originally this was a stud that is welded to this right here, and I mean, this could technically fall at any minute. It's just barely hanging in there, so I want to be careful with that. This is a heavy chunk of steel that could hit me in the head. But so this is a stud that's welded to just a piece of round, you know, it's a round piece of metal, just kind of like a washer, but a thick washer that's welded to a stud that comes out this way, so it prevents that stud from rotating inside this. The rotation happens inside of the cylinder, the end of the cylinder here, and there's a grease fitting right here, so that's where the wear would be, and it's a greasable fitting. And then there's a bolt on the end of this that goes into that stud, because that stud has it's just tapped for a bolt to go into it, and so that's what holds that in. But what happened is this stud, it actually broke off right here inside, and for the longest time this worked fine. I mean, I probably put up several hundred hours on it with just this kind of mended together, and I did actually try to drill a hole in the end of this right here to get enough weld on the end of that rod, but I just didn't drill, honestly I think I just didn't drill a big enough hole to be able to get my welder in there and get enough heat and penetration on the end of that rod to hold that in place, so it ended up breaking fairly quickly. So my plan is, now I'm going to cut this off just flush right here where you can see that it's welded on, and then I'm going to just get a bolt that's the same diameter as this stud, and I'll weld the head of the bolt on this end. And I'm not going to have any threads in here. I'm going to get a bolt with a long enough shank on it where it's just smooth all the way to there. And then we'll have the threads just right here, and I'll probably just put the nut on this end of it, and either just tack weld the nut on or drill a hole through it and put a cotter pin or something like that, just to hold that nut from ever backing off, because there's not, I can't like sandwich it real tight and put a lot of torque on that bolt, or this won't pivot. So I got to leave it kind of loose there. So I'll get a steel lock nut or something that's not going to move a lot, and then maybe just put a cotter pin on the outside of it there, and I think that'll take care of that problem. That's one of the issues that I've got to address for sure. That's kind of the most aggravating. And then I'm going to address this issue that I mentioned while I was out there. Go ahead and try to tighten this up, and hopefully that gets that leak fixed. Let's see, what else do we have to do? I may replace a few shanks on the saw blade. I got to just spin it around. I know I'm missing one or two of the carbide teeth, and usually when I have it in the shop, I'll just go ahead and deal with that as well. I got to kind of tighten up the front of that cylinder as well on the right there on the log stop. That one's been kind of coming a little bit loose on me too, but I'll get the pipe wrench on that and really torque it down, tighten that up. Let's see, what else are we going to try to do? I'm going to, of course, grease the whole machine while it's in here. Check all the fluids, make sure everything's good. And then I know I need to, let's see, I think everything over here is pretty good. I know I've got one paddle missing on this outfeed conveyor. It's actually right on this underside. You can see where it came loose right here, where it broke. My concern is that it kind of took a chunk of the link with it a little bit right here. On that side, the link is still fully intact. But I mean, this chain, it takes an absolute beating the way that we have it set up. It's got a good distance that the wood falls, and as you can imagine, just repetitive, hitting on that with a decent bit of weight from a decent fall, it can't take it, for too long. It does pretty well. It's not like this happens real frequently, and what I'll do with that is, this has happened before, and I've actually reinforced all of these as well to prevent it from happening. I'll rotate it and get that paddle all the way up here. We'll hook a power pack to it. I've got a power pack sitting right there. I've got a few Eastonmade power packs, and we'll get that rotated up to here and make our repair right here. So yeah, I mean, now I think that's pretty much gonna be what we're gonna be repairing this time around. Everything else is doing pretty good, but yeah, I think that's pretty much going to wrap this video up. I've got to kind of get going here today, but tomorrow I hope to get in here and make some repairs to this thing. And well, there's one more thing. Yep, I'm glad I was right here. So this right here, these are our drop legs that we put on this outfeed conveyor. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I should have just put a weld right here. I just didn't really think about it bending this, the weight, especially sometimes it'll shake, and the vibration. So I hope maybe I can put a pipe on that and bend that down some kind of way. And then if I just reinforce this right here with some weld, I can get these hoses out of my way, no problem, and then get some weld right there. That'll probably take care of it. See, if I had put this bar right here where that weld is, I guarantee that would have stayed straight and not had that issue. It's just that they just kind of stitch welded this right here, and I put it right in between the welds. There's a weld there and there's a weld there, and I put it just dead center. So that was kind of I should have seen that coming, but and I think this is maybe the same on the other side. Let's go take a look and see. The other side, it's still there, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit that with some weld right there to prevent it from doing the same thing that it did over there. And yeah, I know I got to do that. and then I think we'll be back in business. But I am going to show you guys tomorrow, when I do get to working on this thing, just some of the modifications and tweaks that we've done to the machine over the years, to you know, like I say, make it just a little bit more efficient in any way we can. You know, I'm always thinking about something, and I have future plans for something up top, and I'll probably share that with you guys as well. I don't think I'm going to do that before we get it set back up out there. I think I would need, you know, me and my brother usually team up and kind of work on things like that together, and it would be helpful if he was here to help with that. And I think he's going to be on a landscape job for the foreseeable future anyway, the next week and a half or so. So I'll probably wait on that. It's not in dire need. But I'll go into detail on all those things tomorrow. When before I get any repairs made, we'll kind of talk about some of the stuff we've done over the years to this processor, and some of the things that have really that we've really liked. So, but yeah, I think that's going to wrap this one up, and we'll see you guys tomorrow when we're making some repairs. And we appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you on the next one.